I'm Amy Cherry. The National Weather Service confirms an EF0 tornado was spawned by Hurricane Irma. The tornado touched down south of Marineland, hitting Princess Place Preserve and the surrounding area. Bob Pickering with the Flagler County Emergency Operations Center tracked the storm.
It traveled generally due west, crossing the Intercoastal Waterway, and impacted mostly rural locations from along the area. It didn't hit any structures or anything like that. It went through the area south of Princess Place, tearing through trees. And it appeared to be most intense, generally just west of the Intercoastal Waterway. But as it moved further to the west, it began to weaken a little bit. It did cross I-95.
The storm tore down trees around a nature bridge by I-95 and toppled an empty horse trailer. Kara Hoblick, director of the Florida Agricultural Museum, says the storm tore through their property.
We were extremely lucky because it was small and it had lessened in power. Did a lot of damage to trees, a few of our buildings, minor damage to some of the buildings. But luckily our main structures were completely fine.
She says all of the animals were safe.
They just know what to do in a situation like that. Their instincts kick in, and we had all of our animals out in the open fields so they could do what they do best in situations like that, and they all came out fine.
Hoblick says a lot of fencing was lost, but all of the animals stayed close to home.
This portion of WNZF Local News, a service of the Daytona Beach International Airport. Fly to the Big Apple in a New York minute on JetBlue from the Daytona Beach International Airport.
A mother faces life in prison for raping her own child. Ben Smith reports.
A 6-person jury needed only 25 minutes Wednesday to return a guilty verdict against 23-year-old Erin Vickers, who was accused of raping her 1-year-old daughter while Vickers' boyfriend watched on Skype or received pictures of the assaults. The attacks happened at a home in Palm Coast's R section multiple times, with some of the incidents lasting up to 2 hours. Prosecutors played several clips for the jury, including one showing Vickers herself. The defense never presented a case beyond simply saying the prosecution was not effective. Vickers now faces the possibility of life in prison without parole. She also faces nearly 50 additional charges. Her boyfriend, Paul Dykes, is scheduled to go on trial in the coming months on similar charges. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Ben Smith.
A Palm Coast mother faces charges after her 1-year-old son is found with cocaine in his system. John Arking has more.
A 23-year-old Palm Coast mother has been charged with felony child neglect 3.5 months after walking away from a drug rehabilitation center. Ashley Estep was under investigation for the drug intoxication of her 21-month-old son in late May, but went missing the following month from Project Warm at the Vince Carter Sanctuary in Bunnell. Authorities say Estep had taken her son May 20th to the ER at Florida Hospital Flagler, telling staff there that she was worried he had taken one of her prescription pills. A urinalysis on the child tested positive for cocaine. She then told a Flagler County Sheriff's deputy she was a heroin addict, but denied using cocaine, but then later admitted to an investigator with the Florida Department of Children and Families she had smoked crack cocaine. A urinalysis on Estep tested positive for cocaine and methadone. The Sheriff's Department was still investigating when Estep walked out of rehab. After posting $5,000 bail, she was released pending future court dates. John Arking, Flagler's Morning News.
Palm Coast's water supply is safer and of better quality. The city has finished expansion of the southern well field, adding 5 wells south of State Road 100 between I-95 and US 1. Water authorities say this will stop salt water from getting into the water system and reduce the amount of pumping from each location. They say the move also better sustains the water supply and protects wetlands. 3 more deep wells are planned in the coming years. This latest project cost more than $3 million. And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.